So this is turn 0. My god is named Homeworking Business Solutions, and I'm playing as Uuodeouda. This is a nation that I made. There's a few people in this game that are playing their own nations, and some people are playing other people's nations. But the purpose of this game really was just to test out some new mod nations against each other to see how they how they do against each other. Kind of a test game. So these two messages are as normal. Uuodeouda also gets this message on turn 0 as well. The nation you play as has been destroyed on turn 0, and you play as the cult that destroyed it, and you generate a magic site in your cap on turn 1, which is called Redweed, which I'll now show you. All this does is increases death, but we want to grow our redweed and we want to spread it as much as possible. So we'll keep an eye on that as the turns go by. For now it doesn't really do much. It can free spawn worms for us though. We start with a few worms in our starting army. These are redworm colonies. Redworm colonies are free spawn from redweed. This is going to get difficult to say. And they eat corpses every turn. And the more corpses they eat, the bigger they get. So viable redworm colonies are the first type, size 1, 6 hit points. I think when this gets to 12 they grow. But they get 1 a turn. So that won't happen for a couple of turns. You can see we've already got 150 corpses in our cap, so the worms can eat some of those. We can see on the left here we also start with some very strange commanders. We don't have a scout as such. Our starting commander is a mage. This is, if you want to sort of get into like the, I don't know what you'd call it, the like storyline of the nation, then this is the mage who cast the spell that got that event on turn 1. So he can be used as a scout. He's also a spy, and he's also a very good mage and a basic priest, and he's got decent leadership as well. These are adepts. You also start with an entwining arm. This is the arm of some extra-dimensional creature that we have invited into the world. And we also have here my god, which is, I guess, a tree, but an alien tree. I'll put up a separate video that goes over why I picked what I did on him. But if you haven't seen that, just to show off, he's got 7 nature, 5 earth and 2 water. So on turn 1, pretty usual stuff. I don't have many commanders that I can recruit, because again, this is not a typical nation. This is a cult that just blew up a nation. So we have a few bits and pieces we can recruit, but not very much. We can get a basic commander. You can pause the video at any point and read these descriptions if you like. I'm not going to go through them, but if you want a bit more context to what's going on, it's there. We also have our flowerbed church commanders. We have scythes, who are assassins really. No leadership at all. You get a little bit of magic though, which is quite good for assassins. Mouths, who are the main priests. They have Holy 3, which is quite good. They also get a few miscellaneous priestly thingies, like Elogist and Inquisitor. And they can also summon terrified peasants. If they really want to, you can levy them. I think the description says why. And then also adepts, which you've seen. Adepts can get up to level 3 in all of these paths, but the most likely, if they get any level 3, the most likely will be astral or nature because they start with those. But other than that, there's quite a lot of variety. We can see that the one that we started with had death 3, which is pretty lucky. That means he got the death on the 20% chance pick and then death again on the 33% chance pick. So I'm going to recruit a scythe to begin with, and I'll probably get a couple of these. If we get death scythes, that's really good because they can do some assassination expanding. If they get nature, less useful in the early game, but they'll still be useful to us later on when they can cast swarm and stuff. Help defend against being rushed. Other than that, I'm going to get a couple of my gardeners. These are sacreds. They're not very good. They have a very, very simple weapon, and their ranged attack is sticks and stones, which does get 2 attacks, weirdly. But even so, it's not really going to do much. But we can bless them up and see if they can do anything. And then other than that, I'm going to get some militia. These guys have a fairly long spear, length 3. Other than that, they're not very good. But we'll use them to bolster our starting army, which has the worms and these guys. Other units we can recruit, we've got the soldiers, the militia. We've also got palace guards as well, who are a little bit better. They also get some nice little castle defense bonus and patrol bonus as well. And then if our dominion gets high enough, we can also recruit horrified peasants. So not a great selection of stuff for us to recruit, but we have lots of spells and things we can use. On turn 1, since I am going to be recruiting assassins early on, the first thing we want is enchantment, because we want to be able to cast Animate Skeleton to make use of our assassins. I might go all the way to 2 just so that we've got Peristaltic Passage. Then again, this requires a Great Red Maw to cast, which we don't have yet. So that's not hugely important, but enchantment 1 we definitely want. Where else could I go quickly? It might be best to go... might be best to go into a bit of alteration, maybe. I would like to go up to 4 so that we've got Swarm for our nature guys. And then at 5 we get Mother Oak, which I'd like to cast, and also a National Global as well. That's a lot of yellow text, so again, if you'd like to pause and read it, feel free. But for now, I'll do 1 level of enchantment and 1 level of alteration, just to keep the things ticking by for now. So we've got recruitment, we've got research set up. Our entwining arm and our god can start researching. Not much else they need to do for the time being. And our starting commander, let's rename him. My god is named something about homeworking. This guy's going to be named, how about 1069 unread emails. That sounds pretty good. He can become my prophet. And I'm also going to turn on the correct map filters, which is basically just names so that I can see everything. Take a look at our starting area. So forests are quite good for us. We'd like to get into forests to set up some basic infrastructure. Uuodeouda want to kill off their population fairly quickly, especially early on, to develop their sites. And they also, so forests are nice because they have quite low populations to begin with, and we also get cheaper temples and labs in forests as well. So it's a nice simple spot for us to set things up. Lots of farmlands nearby as well. So if we go this direction, we get lots of forests. Go this direction, we get 1 easy forest, some more farmlands and a throne. There is a throne here as well. These provinces are also quite nice because they are coastal, and we have access to a coastal mage who isn't very good. But we don't have any national mages other than a few very weird ones. We have a mage we can recruit in forests as well. It's very difficult for us to do sort of traditional recruitment though. So a few things to consider. For now though, we've done the basics. We cannot recruit mercenaries very easily. We have additional cost on mercenaries, just like nations like Irma and stuff, because we are a kind of anti-civilization, pop-killing death nation. So it's very hard for us to recruit mercenaries. So other than that, not much else really to say. I'll quickly bring up all of the other players in the game though, just to show off what we have. Because these are all mod nations, and I guess I'll have to do separate videos on them all, just in case people are interested and want to see what they're about. But we can bring up the descriptions at least, and again you can pause and look through them. Man is just man. These are the only people in the game that aren't playing a modded nation, which I think is kind of like a joke or whatever, I don't know. The game needed 12 people and we were stuck at 11 people for ages, and so someone said it would be funny if just a regular man player joined. So there's man playing My Giant Wheel Does Nothing. Looks like Fire and Death Pretender. We have DM Draket. I also haven't looked at any of these nations, because you know what I'm like. I don't do any kind of research or read anything, because I'm a piece of shit, but looks like some kind of dragon nation. That's cool. That's another reason why actually it would be good for me to put up videos of all the other nations, because it would force me to actually look at them all and force me to actually go through what they all do. Playing this nation would terrify me. I hate any nation that has like tons of things you can recruit, because I always just sit there looking at them going, what the fuck do I recruit? These look quite simple actually, because they're just color coded according to what magic path they are. So these are Fire 1 and I guess these are Fire 2, and that makes this N2, right, okay. Is this going to be Fire 3? It is, okay, okay, this is pretty straightforward actually. So some kind of dragon nation. Dragon-sized ambition. I guess they're mostly these guys actually. Drakelings. And they worship Star, who is King of Kings, Patron of Thieves. No, that just sounds like Dominion and no paths. Next we have Gerudo. Golden Sands. These are cool. They're very, very vivid sprites. Gerudo are a nation of women that, although they develop normal relationship with men. Alright, I'm just gonna drop that there. Sure. Gerudo, Golden Sands, worship Big Hot Bunny Mar, Princess of this world, the Harvester, Princess of Penitential Torture. That's a pretty cool epithet. Sure, again, I'll go through them at some point. My ass is ridiculously hairy. The god of Lemnos, Dream of a Thousand Cats. This is a cat-themed nation. That one I do know, because I've seen screenshots of this one quite a lot. I don't really know what they do other than that, though. Some cats, priest, nature, nature and death, nature and astral. This looks very similar to... oh no, they've got fire. Fire is kind of a problem for my nation, because a lot of my... any unit I have that's red is probably vulnerable to fire. So that includes this guy. It includes this guy. And it includes my god as well, I think. My god is blessed though, and he has the fire resistance from the bless, so he's currently fine. So this was face painted with bell pot, so Lord of Flies. That sounds like death. I guess this is just my ass is ridiculously hairy. The face painted with bells. The pockmarked savior. That's so good. Even Lord of Flies is kind of good, I guess. But exciting movie poster taglines. La Mancha. The Enchantments of Chivalry. So this looks a bit like man, actually. Oh, well, Marignon, I guess. Sleep Aura, that's cool. I'm not sure what else has that in the game. Hypnotism, this is a cool unit, I like this guy. Haven't actually read anything, but he looks cool. Causes unrest too, yeah, he's a cool guy, I like him. Humans joins with illusion magic. Princess of the Desert Wind, Goddess of Clouds, I guess that's a... Time Squad in to Ares Roman. Dakin, the Ever Loyal Regiment. So this is some kind of Ermor inspired? Yeah. This looks cool. What is this? Carpenter of the Insides, Master of the Dying Forests. Alright. I will write my name on the moon. Selenia, Lunar Exiles. The Vessel of Might, Queen of Plants and Trees, Lady of Nature. This is the moon mod, I guess. Vaguely recall this one as well. I'm going to assume this is an astral nation. Looks pretty astrally. Yeah. You see white, you know it's an astral nation. And you see green, you know it's nature. I like that. Homework and this is me. So there's the description of my nation if you haven't seen it yet. This says some of the stuff that we can do. We can call in alien allies using strange bedfellows, which we'll get to later on. We kill Dominion, we spread death on our borders, and we reveal unburied corpses. That's important because we eat a lot of corpses. We create and spread sites. That's what the red weed thing is for. And yep, we got the God above all, God of gods, the Mountain Lord, Prince of Forgiving. Those are not very funny epithets for my god name, unfortunately. You can see some of our other recruits here as well. We got the horrified peasants that need high dominion. We can also levy terrified peasants who then turn into horrified peasants if they get enough experience. We can recruit acolytes in low population provinces. So these are just kind of stealthy basic priest commanders. So it's a bit like man's priests, man's monks, but they actually have some leadership to begin with. So they're quite useful if you can get them. We can get wildman revelers in forests. These are not very good researchers and they are insane. But they've got some nature and they are something. And you can also get triumphant wildmen in forests as well. These are extremely cheap units, as you can see, but they are very poor researchers. Only going to recruit those if you're desperate for mages. And then coastal hermits on the coast, who are similar. They don't have the research penalty. They are a bit more insane, I think. Let's see. Nope, just as insane. And they get water and astral instead of nature and earth. Oh yeah, and then we got these are all Cassia, I think. So we got, did I go through one of them already? No, I thought there was an EA Cassia, but we've got MA and LA. This is a bee nation inspired by some Chinese bee myth. I really don't know. People really like this nation though, so I'm sure it's very cool. I just don't read anything. And then we've got LA Cassia as well, the Dream Long Divided. More bees. I'm surprised how few kind of bee units there are in the commanders. We've got this little guy, and then we've got this big swarm, but there's no actual like bees in the. I thought you'd be able to recruit like actual little bees. So this one is, it's going to get confusing to tell these apart, I think. This one is Princess of Air, Goddess of Heavenly Fires, Invincible and Ever Triumphant. That sounds like very high air and fire. Star of the Dead, Maneater, The Afterthought. We've got Costaculus. This is another nation that I made. This is Clown Nation. Worships represent the entire circus, Master of the Sky, Sky of all the people, Great Hurricane of the Heavens, Master of the East Wind. Gonna go out on a limb here and say that is an herbless. And what is that whack-ass whacker prison? Nazca, this is a modded Nazca. I don't know much about default Nazca though, so this is all kind of new to me. More air. This is like a very, very air heavy game. I'm actually quite glad I took the shock resistance blessed now. We don't have a lot of blessed units until later on, but eventually we can cast. Oh god, how do I get up spells again? Let's just press F5. It's research, right? I haven't played this game in a while, unfortunately. So eventually we can cast this. This gives us a random selection of commanders and units every turn for as long as it's up. And every single unit it produces and every single commander it produces is sacred. Well, almost all. There's a few booby prizes in there, but mostly it's very, very good sacred troops and very, very good sacred commanders. So the shock resistance bless might come in quite handy. I don't know. See how it goes. I think that's everything I can really go through at this point though. It's all level 2 thrones. The map looks like this. I don't know the name of the program that was used to generate this. I think it's Map Nuke. Does that sound correct? I'll look it up anyway and I'll put it in the description. This one makes very like even maps, I think. Looks kind of, you know what I mean? Like you can see that how the kind of generator works. It's like a nice even distribution of every type of province. But I've never played a game on a map made by this program before, so we'll see how it goes. So that's it for turn 1. Nothing else to do, so I'll leave it there. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you on turn 2.